I'm ready when you're ready. I'm going to share this to my page as well.
Alright, we're ready to go live?
Yep, we're ready to go live.
Play music and intro.
And hopefully this is going to be showing up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to Sounds Like Lisa with me, Lisa Gonzalez. If you're listening to this on 128radio.com, thank you for joining us. If you're seeing it on Facebook, and different people are popping up right now on Facebook stream, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Today I have a very special guest, Gracie Ray. Say hi. I hope that you can see her. Yes.
Hi, everyone.
For those of you who are listening and tuning in, if you have any problems, feel free to try to highlight either. I would love a message. So Liliana Catus, we are doing this for the first time, trying to figure out if you can be heard and seen, because we're doing a lot of different platforms. So feel free to join us, ask questions. Today we will have the lines open if you guys have any sort of questions or anything that you want seen. I'm going to just put down the line. So it's 1-857-222-0155, extension 870303. We're looking on the Facebook page and you will see that the number pops up. But Gracie Ray is a psychic live from beautiful Philadelphia, no, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right outside of Philadelphia, yeah?
Right outside Philadelphia, yes.
And I'm here in sunny Colorado, which you can see. But yeah, so we're here today to take questions, to have a talk, and I'm changing up my show a little bit today just because I wanted to see how this would work. And I brought Gracie Ray in as my, well, you always like the first person I bring in. I guess it's because I feel like I can make mistakes.
Oh yeah, you definitely can. And vice versa.
Since we're in, can't see Facebook, listening to or mentioned it. Okay, I'm getting some people say some things, and I'm seeing the people going up to 9, 10, 11 people. So, okay, so we will just go and start the show, and I'm so excited to have you today, especially during like Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
It's been kind of a crazy time. How have your planets been? I'm kind of curious. Have you been really busy?
I think it's been a little bit busy this week, but I would say what I'm picking up more on is, Mercury retrograde. I did talk about this on Tuesday, but Mercury is retrograde and it's very close to the planet Venus. So it feels like it's both Mercury and Venus retrograde. So it's causing people physical issues. So I just got a message from someone yesterday that they were in the hospital. My brother's had a headache. I felt kind of like, just kind of sicky. So I've had a lot of those responses to Mercury retrograde and its impact on planet Venus.
I definitely can see that. From my perspective, I've heard of a lot of car accidents happening and people having like personal accidents in the past week or so. So if accidents are up, any to do head injuries or injuries, like in some ways, sometimes it's like computers shutting down.
Yes, that's the most typical, right? The most obvious.
Yes.
And they always happen.
Yes.
Without doubt. Thank you, Mercury.
Yes. And so, I really haven't formally figured out that. I haven't figured out what this one is supposed to be as far as like what this is supposed to teach us and whatnot. I'm just kind of going by, like you said, it's like really close and we're seeing certain things. I do know that during this time, usually more things go a little wonky, So, I mean, I'm just kind of curious to see what you saw as well as a psychic too, because my phone lines do start to swing and go crazy during this time.
Right.
So, what I saw was injuries. So you're seeing things more, accidents and stuff too, right? I mean, what have you been hearing? It's just the first week. So,
Sure. I also get this image of planet Mercury being like a bowling ball. And it's coming into our lives, right? So that can affect a lot of different things, but it seems like it's also trying to make space for what's to come. And I feel like the impact that it has on Venus has to do with our relationship to ourselves being completely reformed. and also our relationship with others, both in a romantic way and interpersonal way. So there might be some conflict, but it's actually pushing us to find solutions and to actually have better interpersonal relationships.
I completely agree. I think this is a time when you have issues with your significant other or like people in your world. This is a time when these conflicts arise for us to take a look at them, examine them. How do you feel Venus is important in people's charts?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's important as a planet, but also it rules over certain houses. So the house that this time around it really affects is the second house, which has to do with the body and money and self-esteem and self-worth and boundaries. I mean, these are the issues that are really coming up during this time. So I feel like a lot of people will struggle with that, this balancing act between themselves and other people, and how to find that place of good communication and coming together to form solutions when there are problems. So there's a lot of anxiety about that right now, and just kind of feeling. I've seen a lot of people struggling with people in their lives, whether that be romantic or even more specifically family.
Absolutely. I definitely think that you hit the nail on the head when you said that second house is coming to play, especially with interpersonal things as far as like how your relationships are with other people. It's always so tricky because I don't think what a lot of people understand is when Mercury retrograde hits, it always hits like in certain things or certain places, like it's always changing. So it's not the same exact Mercury retrograde every 3-4 months. It's has different aspects. And with this one, we're seeing Venus, which is so close with love and relationships and how we interact with people. So if we're seeing people money, yes. I've definitely gotten a bunch of phone calls about feeling if they're not being paid enough or maybe not being paid enough by their baby daddy. So like there's a lot of discontentment right now with certain things. I wanted to bring this on and bring you on because you always have such a great fresh perspective on how to take a look at this. Especially because, we don't, every type is really different. We don't know how it's going to affect all of us. So to me, it's important that we kind of discuss it and hear what people are saying and give support during this time too. Most definitely. So yeah, I'm so happy you're on. And it's going to be good because there's a lot of questions going on. I thought maybe you and I could tag team some of them at some point in time. I know somebody is saying that a little bit of static, wow, muffled sounds and 4-way echo. I'm wondering how we can fix that. Is everybody hearing that, or is it just I've gotten huge responses? We're going to play with this, ladies and gents, and we're going to try to figure out how to do it. She sounds pretty clean to me, but you said, Grace, you can hear some static and an echo too, right?
Yeah, I do hear static.
Okay. I'm almost wondering if it's easy for you to... I think if I put on my headphones, I don't know if I just hear you. I'll take a drive.
Okay.
There's no point. I don't think you have anything to do. So for those of you listening, if you don't hear me in a second, it's because I'm trying to do something different. Okay?
And please let her know.
Yeah, let me know. So in the meantime, why don't you try talking, Gracie, for a second while I try to put this on.
So I'll just talk more about that Venus being affected by Mercury retrograde. So you are going to see the typical symptoms. Oh, that sounds
that's worse. Better. Oh, it does sound better for you guys?
Oh, it sounded better. The static went away.
Okay, so the static went away. So we got this, but can anybody else hear it? Keep talking, Gracie. Keep talking, Gracie.
Okay. So what I was saying about Mercury retrograde is you still are going to see those typical things like technology, car accidents. Liliana said yes, she can hear us, so that's good.
Okay, that's good. I'm hoping other people can hear too. Now, is everybody hearing? Because I just turned off my mic. So maybe that helped. Okay, keep going.
It's much better, she said, Liliana.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Oh, yay.
Okay.
So, and I'm just looking at the other comments. So those are always like the typical things, you know, um, hearing from exes is another one. But I would say with this, again, so I do esoteric astrology, which is a very different perspective on astrology. It goes by exact planetary positions. So technically for the type of astrology I do, we're in Taurus season, we're not in Gemini.
Okay.
So, I mean, a lot of this has to do with us building, right? That's what Tauruses do. They're very consistent. They like to build things. They're very committed to success, which is wonderful. They love money. They love success. But there might be some areas in our life where, you know, maybe our self-esteem is too low. Maybe we're too hard on ourselves. These things that are really limiting us. But the way that spirit has been showing this to me is like our hearts are hardened. So it's
Okay.
like this metal shell. And right now it's just being cracked open. And so, as I was explaining to people, there might be this need for resting and rejuvenation right now because you're going to be releasing a lot of things and you're going to have to make some changes in your life. And if you try to push yourself into it, it could be, you know, catastrophic. So ease into this time, allow this to be a slow and gentle process, and be really gentle with yourself. So important during this time. So you should see substantial changes within the next 2 weeks in your life. And it might not be action wise, it might just be a decision like, okay, this person who I was working with, you know, I think I'm planning for the future that we're going to go our separate ways. Just clarity will come from it. And you'll also realize, you know, this is really the direction that I want to take with my future. So it's kind of like a crossroads. That's the best way of saying it.
That sounds like I just saw Karen Michael saying, "Oh my God, my ex is challenging me now." So it sounds very on par. I have a cousin right now who is just having everything come out here. She's a Gemini, and like all hell is breaking loose for her.
Right.
As far as like her ex challenging her about the kids, and she's deciding that I think she wants to go back to court and fight it. So
that's that new direction, right?
Right. And I have friends that are getting divorced right now, and they're, being challenged with their ex-husband, like wanting like custody or trying to get like, things out of them or challenging them for all sorts of stuff. So the challenges are real, ladies and gents. I mean, if you're feeling it right now, this is why I brought Grace on, because Grace is always like, even though we read differently, we definitely like have a lot of similarities in the same, like we're on the same page, We
always are. I love that.
That's what I love about it, is because of the fact that like we can look at things differently. Like I didn't even realize that your astrology, like how you're doing it, Grace, is like you're still in Taurus,
Right.
As far as I know with astrology, in my way is like we're now in Gemini,
right.
But I can see like this is what's so interesting about how different people look at things is that they all have different perspective, but it's really interesting to see how we could still come up with the same things, like even though we don't look at things exactly the same. So this is pretty cool, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I've got 3 monitors going on, and it's because I can't see all the responses. For some reason, I only get to see, it's always after my show that I see like a barrage of questions that were like, does that happen to you too? It's really frustrating. It's like, oh wait, I didn't get to see all of this while I was reading. Right. So I just want anybody who's listening or trying to pay attention right now on the feed. Sometimes we don't see your questions. You can go ahead and see, yay. Like sometimes we don't get to see all the questions live, and it comes in later. If you don't get read or we don't acknowledge you, we may not be seeing it. It's not because we don't like you. I don't want you taking it personally. God forbid that could happen during this retrograde too.
Sure.
That like people are like, why aren't they talking to me? It's the technology, folks, that we're just learning how to play with, and figuring out how to live stream on multiple, on multiple sites here is a little tricky sometimes. So this is why I'm pushing myself to do this. And this is why, Gracie, you're here, because like, I just feel it can be so much more forgiving when it's you, and you have a sense of humor about this. and that all of this is like new technology and
sure.
So,
sure.
yeah.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you.
and now I got to wear the big headphones, but it did take out the echoing, I think. So this is good. And that's all that really matters, is the fact that like people can hear us without all the whistling and the crazy stuff. Yeah. So like I said, we are going to open up the lines. If anybody does want to, we'll take some readings, like, but in the meantime, we're going to just talk and talk about how things are going and what's up. The last time when I reached out to you, it was really kind of funny. Can I just explain how this happened so people can understand? Like, for those of you who know me, I'm not the best planner. I tend to not plan very well, or when I plan, everything goes wrong, right? So it just sometimes, like in my life, I just let things flow. Grace had called me like a week or two ago, and she got the wrong Lisa, which all things are accidents or not accidents
or not.
Exactly. These accidents aren't really accidents. They're just momentum, like moments that are supposed to happen that were, what do you call it? Kismet, or
yes.
I don't know. Yeah. So we ended up speaking on the phone together, even though she called the wrong Lisa. We ended up having a talk, and it was a great talk, by the way, Grace. And I invited her to come onto the show this week because I was like, I got to try to see if I can get another person on. Would you be willing? So this is why Grace is here. And one of the things I was talking to you about was you post so many great things, and sometimes, I mean, I think we're both fans of each other, and we watch our stuff, when it pops up. And one of the things that you had mentioned, well, I want to introduce you for those who, I think everybody knows you, but for those who don't know you, you are a fellow psychic with me on one2listen.com. You are on the East Coast, and I'm in Colorado. You've been doing this for a while too. You have your own page, you have your own thing, which we can absolutely promote. And you're also going to study trauma psychology. You're going back to school to deal with trauma in people who've had. Well, talk about that for a moment. Yeah.
Sure. I probably about I want to say 2016. So it's been at least over 3 years, or 3 years or so. I really started to get very interested in trauma, and I know I mean, everyone in the metaphysical community, if I talk about inner child or something, they get it. They get it. They understand what I'm talking about. And the more that I read into it and studied it and did volunteer work and became a part of multiple programs related to trauma, the more that I fell in love with it. And so I just felt really strongly that it was definitely a passion of mine. But just like, I mean, to be very honest with you all, I did not think that I would be a psychic. I was told by people around me, you should be a psychic. Like, you really need to go be a psychic. And I was like, what? And the same thing happened with this, where they were like, you just talk about this all the time. Like, this is obviously, like, you need to go help people in some capacity and do this. And it was, it's something that I can do with what we do now. And it's something that I could, additionally help people with. And I mean, I'm interested in everything from, rehabilitation, drug addiction, eating disorders, children, adults, like PTSD, across the board. I just love the idea of getting down to root causes and conditions. And so, that's my passion, and I'm excited to do this this program that I'm starting in the fall.
Oh, that's so exciting. One of the things that you threw up on, not throw up, one of the things that you put,
I threw it up.
I threw it up on, exactly. One of the things that you put up on the, on one of your pages one day, I had mentioned this to you. I couldn't remember it when we were talking. I was like, oh my God, that's so fascinating. And then I remembered it like later. It was the fact that when people are depressed, they don't see colors so well. Right. And I thought that was really kind of crazy interesting. It's not like colorblindedness, but it's more like they don't see the brightness of the hues, right?
Right. And, it's, it's a dopamine response. So, I think I fall into the category of people who, I think one of the misunderstood things about psychiatry is that if you are depressed, people think, oh, well, you're just depressed. If you're bipolar, you're just bipolar. And yet most people that you talk to, they might have multiple diagnosis, or even more accurately, what they're discovering now is you're more on a spectrum.
Yeah.
So if you experience anxiety, which I do, there's a spectrum of anxiety and depression. And so I never felt like I had depression, and that caught me very off guard. Like, what? I don't think I have depression, but I would be tired a lot. And I started working on, because both anxiety and depression have low dopamine in the system. So I started working and, posting videos on how to enhance your dopamine, nature walks, music, eating certain foods. And I started taking all of these steps. And the first thing I noticed, which completely caught me off guard, was the colors just changed.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like I felt like a little kid again. And then I started to do some research on this, and we actually, as kids, saw colors more vibrantly. But as we got older, our brains switched for us to be more goal oriented. So it dimmed the colors so that we could chase after dopamine. But it's also kind of making us little addicts, like chasing a hit, because every time you do a task, right, just as an example, you get a dope hit. Every time you eat, you get like me this afternoon, I ate too much for lunch and I was like, oh, but like it's a dopamine hit. So, basically we're all made of chemicals, and it's important that we have an awareness of how these chemicals affect us.
That same chemical that you're talking about with dopamine.
Yes.
I happen to be one of these, I'm shamefully admitting it, but it's the truth. I happen to be an addict to like playing games on my phone, like whether it's Candy Crush or Word Blitz or something like that. And every time I like make more than 30 words, my thing, I feel that dopamine like hit me, and like I get my reward, like the little rat that gets the little pellet,
What do you mean? I wish that was mine. Mine is like food. So I wish that but you know what? Whatever you have, you have. And, I've worked with psychiatrists, especially last year and during COVID, and they said, if you don't have an addiction or experience some type of like anxiety or depression last year, something might actually be wrong with you. Like you might be a bit of a sociopath or something, because it was just such an intense year, and so people had to find ways of coping. That's what we do. But again, we can't make healthy decisions about how to cope if we don't even understand that we're coping.
Exactly. And we don't, like, we have to become aware of what we're doing in order to change it too,
Exactly.
I know what my distraction or my hit for dopamine is. I'm sure it could be food too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about that. But like,
that's okay. You're so pretty. Look at you. You're gorgeous.
Yeah, we could have this whole love fest too. I was thinking, what are you doing? You eating? You have like, look how gorgeous you are. I was thinking you must be eating all the right things, because
thank you.
You don't look like you have any issues whatsoever, Grace.
Thank you.
You're just a beautiful, beautiful girl. I love you. Okay, we did our love.
Love.
So I was thinking, we have so many different questions that are popping up,
Sure.
and even my board is popping up with questions. So I thought maybe we could take a look at some of them. And
Sure.
I know that I usually do my, my Lisa scopes or whatnot. Maybe while we're doing this, we'll pull for people.
Sure.
And whatnot. But I do want to start off. I have a Radha here asking if Rish is going to reach out to me by the end of the day. I'm going to pull. So Radha, we don't know your birthday, but we're just going to pull and answer that question. And I'll probably answer the question, like give the question, then we'll try to answer it. Okay? Does that make sense?
One of the things that really helps me is location. I know. Remember last time I'm the GPS and you're the
birthday.
The birthday, yes. I was going to say signs, but you're the birthday girl.
Well,
okay.
It is signs. For me, it's signs, but birthdays are where I get my signs from. But if they do signs like you do signs, then I'd be really confused, right? So that's why. So, okay. So the first one that I see is Rish going to, I see a bunch of you, and we're going to try to get through them. Okay. Radha's from Toronto, August 27th. She's a Virgo. Okay.
Hey, Virgo. I'm August 25th. So.
Gracie Ray is a Virgo, and I am a Libra. For those of you who don't know, now we know, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Radha wants to know if Rish is going to reach out to her by the end of today. She feels his energy, but we have had no contact. What is your feeling on this one?
I feel like there's a little bit of game playing here, to be honest, between you and, oh my God, Virgo. So Virgos, I think we hate game playing and we love to be straightforward. And then we also love game playing
Right.
secretly. So
Exactly.
we can't help it. So I feel like I do feel his energy coming towards you, like he wants to reach out to you, but there seems to be this like cat and mouse, who's gonna cave first dynamic going on between the two of you. So I feel like he's gonna try his best to hold back and to not respond to you. So what were you gonna say, Lisa? Sorry.
I pulled the Seven of Swords. Now, I'm using the cards, but my initial oh, hey, there's Miss Kitty. My initial thing that's going on right here is I don't think he'll reach out to you right now. Like not today, with this card. If I'm pulling up, it's the seven, but it's for the reason of what you said, Grace. Is I feel there's some game playing. Like he's holding off because I think he's like my initial answer was I don't think he's going to do it today. I do think you'll hear from him, but it probably won't be. I think he thinks he's in the doghouse, and you just wrote he hurt my feelings.
Yes.
So
and read the one before.
I didn't want to cave in first, and I want him to reach out first. Okay. Well,
that's a game playing there. Well, it's the pride game, right? It's right. I get it. But this really is very Mercury retrograde right here.
Yes. And I do think it is Mercury retrograde because there is a miscommunication in the sense where they're not communicating. And the waiting her out, I have been involved with Virgo men. I've had like 2 serious relationships with Virgos. And my Virgo guys were very confrontational. And they would wait me out to wait till they thought I wasn't angry. So yes. I do feel that because you're a Virgo, Radha, I think he's trying to do the wait her out game. Like, you're trying to wait out to see if he cares and if he like will answer you, but he's trying to wait it out to see when you're not going to be angry. So it's you both are playing those games. I mean, I do think it'll happen, but these next 3 weeks are going to be a series of maybe miscommunications. Like he's expecting you to, you're expecting him to. Don't expect the result to be great right now. Expect it to be full of uncertainty, I guess is the word I'm saying. It's not that there's a lack of feelings. It's just that you both handle this type of conflict, and I guess you let him know that he hurt your feelings because, I think he's aware of that, but I don't think he wants to deal with you when you're so into your feelings right now. So he's waiting for you to kind of get over your feelings so he can talk to you about it. I don't think it's going to be today though. Like, that's my gut on that one. And I'm sorry, but my gut is like, I told him that. Well, I'm glad that you, Radha, I think it's really important that you do tell when your feelings are hurt,
Oh, as a Virgo, just to say you hurt my feelings is so hard for us. Because what we want to say is you did this, I'll make a PowerPoint of all the things that you did wrong so that you can understand and you can change, because we're all about like self-improvement. But to say, listen, this really hurt my feelings, that's hard. That's
to bring it back to yourself. And hard. This is something that, no matter what your sign is, when you have an interpersonal relationship with another person, it's really hard to own your feelings. Sometimes it's easier to point the feelings and saying you did this, but the best effective way when you're dealing in an interpersonal relationship and you're having like your feelings hurt or whatever, the one thing, believe me, people, I've been to a lot of therapists in my life. I mean, I'm a firm believer that therapists are awesome and can help us see things in a different light. One of my favorite therapists told me, if you own your feelings, nobody else can take that away from me. If you say you did this to me, they can argue with you, but the reality of the situation is like, I feel hurt. This is how this is affecting me. This is where I am at. There's really no challenge to that. They can try to challenge, but they can't say, no, you don't feel that way, because they're not you. So if you own the feelings and you own yourself when you're doing a conversation, and this is a way in like when you're fighting with somebody, pay attention to your language and what you're saying with that other fellow person. own your feelings instead of saying you did this, you did that. Try to go from the perspective of I feel, and this is the way I am, because they can't argue with that. You're telling your truth at that moment. And then from there, you're getting a lot clearer.
Yeah,
You told
brilliant.
him, Radha, that your feelings were hurt. He has to deal with that because he can't change that. He can alter his reality on how he's feeling, but he can't change the fact that you feel hurt. Now, I think because of the retrograde, I would let that rest a little bit, give it a little time and let him come around to you. I think I would hold off and just let him come to you at this point, because I know you've been trying. The energy is out there. It's not resolved, but you'll have 3 weeks to resolve this. It'll probably be rocky, but yeah.
Can I also say something regarding trauma?
Yeah.
Because Radha said it was so hard for me to say her feelings. I have never confronted anyone before. So many people think as a Virgo, I'm confrontational, but like right now I have to, it's not a romantic situation, but I have to like dump someone in my life. Not actual dump, it's actually professional. Just like I'm going to go to choosing a new path. But
Right.
it's awful. The idea of confronting them and hurting someone, potentially their feelings, by my decisions is so scary for me. And what I want to say about that, this isn't just for Virgos, but if you grew up as a child and if it was scary for you to express yourself in your home, if it was scary for you to say, I need to go to the doctor, or I need this, or I need that, if your parents neglected you or freaked out if you had needs and you kind of learned to just keep it inside, this asking for your needs to be met or expressing your feelings feels like conflict. It feels like you're starting a fight. Do it anyway. Okay. Break the cycle, because that was dysfunctional. That's not how we want to behave as human beings. We want to be vulnerable. We want to be honest. And like Lisa said, no one can invalidate your feelings. No one can tell you
they're yours.
That experience. If it hurts, it hurts. And you can explain where you're coming from. But and Radha said that's true. I was always scared of saying anything since childhood. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's been one of the biggest things for me to say. Whenever I feel like I'm opening up, I feel like someone is squeezing my guts out.
Yeah.
It can be hard. So I just wanted to put that out for anyone that needs to hear that today.
I think that was really good to say, because it is hard. But, we are in a Mercury retrograde. So if you're learning something now, this is invaluable, because you can learn to change those patterns and
Absolutely.
learn to be very aware of like how you speak with other people, owning your feelings and having that power of your voice. I had said to Libras last week, because they had the Queen of Swords, I said, this week you may find yourself tempted to speak your mind, and like as a Libra, I like to speak my mind a lot, and I can get like my teeth kicked in sometimes because it's inappropriate. But we have to be careful not to hurt people this week with what we say, because we may be too blunt. And, learning to figure out how to say things caringly to people without accusation, and just holding your stance is a very interesting way to try to balance things in your life. I mean, you may find that it's very, like you were talking about, Virgos may find it's very scary, and not just Virgos, just to speak up, especially if you've had a traumatic childhood and people don't allow you to have your voice. During this time, you may find using your voice isn't so bad, and learning how to use your voice and hold that stance is very empowering. Wouldn't you say, Gracie?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is really important.
Right. And I think when it feels scary, we also have to have that other voice, that comes up and says, your truth will set you free. I know it's so cliche, but it's true. The more that we try to hold back our truth, the more that we're just delaying the pain that we're inevitably going to feel in that relationship. So yeah, I can't agree more. Can I ask you though, so you're a Libra, I know that, of course, but what's your moon and your rising?
I'm a Leo rising.
Okay.
I'm a Libra moon too. So
Libra moon.
I have 6 planets in Libra, actually.
Wow. So you're a lot of Libra.
I'm like half Libra.
It's interesting
with
though,
a Leo rising. Yeah.
Yeah, this will hit you too, that Mercury, because the way that it's affecting Venus, that'll hit you too. Yeah.
And sometimes that's like really hard to do. For me, it's hard to keep my mouth shut. I find myself going, oh, I'm just going to tell you. And because this is how I see it. And a lot of people get mad at me. I mean, and I can say this with my family, especially, is like, I take this neutral Swiss cheese approach and I look at everybody's thing and I'm like, okay, I'm not buying into this side or this side. I have this opinion. And then everybody gets mad at me because I'm like the impartial person, like looking at the whole overview. And so you just have to kind of learn to say your truth, and hold your stance on that. But the biggest thing is like trying not to let other people tell you what your truth is.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one for no matter what sign you are, especially when you're in relationships. I see it with people who are divorcing all the time, is like their ex is trying to tell them what their truth is. And they're like, no, I know my truth is this. And they only have their version of what they think that their truth is. They don't actually hear the person talking about their truth. And speaking up your truth is something that everybody has to learn to do. I don't think it's a very natural thing to do, especially in society and the way we're raised. Children are seen and not heard. And a lot of times it's really hard to get your truth out and be honest about it without like wanting to throw the daggers at other people. Yeah. So in a retrograde, stuff like that will come up, and trying to keep your power during this time and knowing your voice is going to find yourself challenging. So if you are one of the people that are listening to this, like figuring out that, yeah, like I have a hard time saying this, know that you're not alone, but remember, you can always go back to yourself. If you tell about how you're feeling, not how somebody made you feel, but those are the words you want to like kind of escape from. It's how you just own how you're feeling and what your truth is. No one can take that away from you, which is, thank God, they can try, but that's yours, right? Your voice. So Radha, thank you for sharing with us. I'm going to go out. We have a lot of questions, so I'm going to go to the next question. Okay. Thank you for joining us today as well. And if you like what you hear, come back, and we're here, every Thursday. I am. And Gracie, you can tell you, she's also got her own. Tell me what your web page is and everything that you want to tell people.
Sure. If you're on Facebook, you could just go to Advisor Grace. And that's advisor, like with the O, just so you know, because there's advisor. Or you could go From Pain to Change is my website, and then you can find everything there.
That's good. From Pain to Change. I'm going to make a little thingy, and advisor Grace. Let me see.
And you said it's good weather in Colorado right now?
Yes.
Because it is humid as heck here.
Are you serious?
Oh,
you're not in New York anymore.
I know, but I do love it here, so I won't complain.
That's your Facebook, From Pain to Change, and Advisor Grace. That's how you can find Miss Gracie Ray here. Let's take a look at some of these other people. I have Lori Love saying, I would love to know if either of you see my financial situation becoming more abundant anytime soon. Well, I'm going to pull a card on that. I know you're in California, Lori, I think. And I can't remember what your sign is, but maybe you'll put that on. I do think things are going to change. They have to change, is what I'm getting. They have the seven of wands right here. So it's saying that like you may be changing jobs or changing your situation here. You're going to be forced to. I mean, you're going to fall down if you don't. So you're going to feel like you're forced to, but it is a good thing. I mean, that's my initial gut. What do you get, Grace?
Yeah, I wonder if she was hit by COVID, because I feel like that was sort of like the beginning of something that I'm seeing circling back around now. Okay. And in terms of finances, it 100% has to do with work. That whatever is happening at work is going to change. And I think that things are, now that things are opening up a little bit more, I don't know, I know California is a little bit behind other states. But I think that's also going to benefit her in what it is that she wants to do. Not even necessarily from like a face-to-face perspective, but just people being more open, And so I think that that's definitely going to happen and benefit her with her business.
I feel that it's going to take she also got the death card, which means the beginning of a new business here. So,
Right.
like this and the Mercury retrogression, you should be planning on what you're going to be doing, Lori. I know that you have, I think, if I remember correctly, you just have like stepped into a new career. So this is probably beginning for you now. And so for the next 3 weeks, you're like really just trying to plan that. And so she's a Capricorn Sun, Scorpio rising, and Virgo moon is what it says. So there's the Virgo popping out. But the Capricorn, you're going to worry about this like crazy. So because you're so analytical. So what I'm thinking, Lori, is give this 3 weeks, of this retrograde to plan it and know that things are changing is what I'm feeling. And rather than stepping into something during the retrograde, if at all possible, plan it. And then after the retrograde, maybe go for it, but I feel
Clothes
good.
are coming off. Sorry.
Ooh la la. Yes.
Sorry. It has to. It's
It's
too
hot.
It's hot, girl.
I'm barely it's cold here. I'm in the basement. My basement is cold. But that keeps me from sweating.
It looks good though.
Yeah, you only see one part of the basement. We don't turn the camera around ever.
It's usually the case with basements. So.
Well, this is like where I put my office because I wanted space upstairs. It's quieter here. Nobody bothers me in the basement. That's the truth of it. Like if I want to go do a reading, I come down the basement because like it's finished. Nobody bothers me here. Yeah. So Lori, hopefully you can understand what we're saying and know that it's going to be okay. We will be watching you over the next few weeks, but this is the 3 weeks to like really kind of plan it and know that like last week what we talked about for this week is your High Priestess card is what you got. So you're using your intuition on where you're going with your business and make sure that you listen to yourself as opposed to your analytical self that wants to like me, you know what I mean? Like you got to listen to your intuition, and that's not always the easiest thing. But she's got the Scorpio there, so I don't know. Let's see. I also have, so best of luck to you, Lori. Keep us posted on what's going on. I have Jeannie. Jeannie found out her father, whom she didn't know, passed away years ago. What do you pick up? Her birthday is 11/27/91. I'm not sure, Jeannie, what you want us to take a look at. If you want us to take a look at like him passing away, or like what do I pick up on him? I think you need to kind of like give me a little more than that. I don't know. What do you get, Gracie? I'm just trying to understand what she's trying to ask.
Yeah, I don't see the comments, so I'll.
Okay.
Where's the comments?
This one is on. I'm getting this on. What else am I getting on? This is on my Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 3 screens up because we've got it also on. We also have comments over here on the 1-2 listen page too. And then the Sounds Like Lisa page. And then we also have what's going on the Restream, which is what you probably see on your Facebook page now. So, I mean, this is why I'm saying I don't see all my comments. So I'm just, writing when I see them. Yes. So I'm not sure what she wants to know about that. If you can give me a little more, Jeannie, maybe we can come back to that in a second. Mary wants to know that she's selling our rental and our first home. Any advice or messages on these? There are already big offers 1 day listed. That's fantastic. The market is hot, and I know Mary's in California. This is Mary Vink. I definitely think you're going to sell it, and you're going to sell it for above asking price is what I'm getting. It may not be the first offers that you're seeing right now, but I don't think it's going to be I don't feel it's going to be on the market for too long. The one advice that I do have is because it's Mercury retrograde, or Gatorade, as I was telling you earlier, my boyfriend calls Mercury retrograde Gatorades. Because it's Mercury retrograde, you really want to look over that paperwork, make sure, this may be dry. I would like to see the closing after the retrograde if possible. They got to do their inspections and stuff, but really look at the fine tooth comb. Yes, you'll sell the house, but maybe you find out with the first offer that you have, you don't like exactly what they're requesting when they do like taking a look at the house. Maybe I want a new roof or something weird like that. I don't feel it's going to be the first offer that you look at though. And that's what I'm feeling. What do you feel, Grace?
I feel like it's a seller's market and that she should be
Yeah.
really excited.
Yeah.
As for, I think it's more like there's definitely going to be offers, but I feel like things are going to flip flop in terms of communication. So I don't
Uh-huh.
know, are they selling through a broker? Because I feel like there might be some issues there of like, it's just going to feel, especially if this is their first home that they're selling, like very, anxious, right? A little
Right.
bit anxious about how all of this is going to go, but they're definitely going to do well selling this home.
Yeah, I thought so too. They'd get it above asking price and
Oh yeah,
everything
right
too.
now is such a seller's market.
Right. And it looks like there was a bunch of work that was put in to actually get this on the market. So I think you're going to be
Beautiful.
happy that you did it. And Renee, I got to tell you, I love all your little memes. She always has the best memes. She's got some happy dances and Mercury retrograde. So cute. You know, Tara wants to know, I would love a message about my work if you feel drawn. Her birthday is 12/29. She's another Capricorn.
Of
Let's see.
course, asking about work.
Yes, all about the make my money okay.
Right.
What do you get off of her? I don't have her where she is, but this is Tara Elizabeth Holloway, Hollowati. I never say her name right. And it's
Yeah.
12/29 is her birthday.
Okay.
So,
So, do
go
you
for
know
it.
what type of work she does? I feel like her work is going to change. You know, even though I feel if she's worried about stability, I'm not worried about stability, but I do see it changing,
Uh-huh.
and it feels like upward growth. So I don't see this being a negative thing at all. Her work's going to go really well.
Yeah,
That's not something she needs to worry about.
yeah, and what I got was that there was like not much communication going on. Like
Hmm.
she had issues and that she was disappointed with the work that she has right now and she feels stuck in her situation.
Sure.
So my gut is that she was going to find herself a way around that and
Hmm.
get herself into a new position. And she also has news coming up, good news. So I would agree with you that there's a change coming in the air for her and that she'll be happier with it. But recognize where you are, Tara, and recognize the fact that you're not all that happy with where you are right now. So take a look at like making those changes needed in case, you know, like not in case, but making those changes needed so that you can get a new job, start
Right.
looking in the sense that, and I think you're going to have opportunities for that as well. It didn't feel like that. Okay. So Lori Love responded from earlier. She goes, situation didn't have anything to do with COVID. I ended up I ended in an association with a long-standing patron who was being very difficult, but he was my main source of income. So I either need to replace him, find several new steady clients to pick up the slack, or some other new way of attracting financial abundance. Okay. I think she meant like COVID and like the era of COVID. But
Right.
I like not that you got COVID.
Right.
And I think you understand that, Lori. But
Right.
I can understand how that happened during that time.
Hmm.
You're going to replace them, is what I feel. And you'll get other clients. What do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like it's actually a good thing for her long term because I feel like a big fish can be a lot of pressure sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, whatever did happen, again, they're saying it did happen last year, was the beginning of a new start for her. So, I
Right.
still feel like there's other creative directions that she wants to take her work. She just hasn't seen it fully realized because she's maybe been a little bit preoccupied by clientele. And so I don't see like another major client coming in the same way. I see a few clients and I see her actually going from there and taking her work into a new direction. So all of this is happening like
Fantastic.
very, in accordance with a bigger plan.
Yeah. That to me feels really good. I hope this helps you out a little bit, Lori. I agree with her. I concur. But I do think that like don't stress about the fact that you're losing a big one because other ones are going to come in is what I keep getting. And I
Yeah.
know you're worrying about it because you've got all the balls in the air here. But you know what? The big thing to know, Lori, is that things will work out. And this isn't, this too shall pass, and this will work out for the best for you as well.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of questions about jobs. I have Lauren here who wants to know.
Can I just say
Lauren.
something too?
Yeah.
I do see like a little bit of fame for Lori. It was Lori,
Lori.
correct?
Yes,
I
Lori.
see a little bit of fame. So I see her going around and doing some sort of like showing people things, like kind of like workshops, but they're also kind of private. And I see her just kind of growing in this like fame sector. So I feel like, again, her having more clients is going to work towards that. And I see a new avenue that her work takes, definitely.
Nice. Well, I think that sounds fantastic. And I do think the work that she does is working with people. So, I mean, I thought that she was doing something like psychology or something with helping people. So that would be right in line if she was like doing like workshops or something like that, getting out there and being public. So hopefully this helps you, Lori. I have Lauren who also would like a reading on her new job. Lauren, why can't I find that? She is if I remember correctly, I think she's a Pisces and she lives in Denver.
Perfect.
So let's take a look at this. For some reason I have 36 comments and of course I can't see but 5 of them. So let's go with Lauren first and we'll go there. First of all, congratulations on the new job, Lauren.
Yes, such a relief.
Yeah, I think this is good for you. I'm wondering when you're starting it. It doesn't seem like you're very clear with it. You have the moon card, so you're not sure about the changes that you made, Lauren. But I actually feel that it's going to be good for you. I'm wondering if this is an education. You're trying to figure out if this is the best thing for you to do. Were you not working for a while, Lauren? I haven't talked to you in forever, so I don't know what's going on here. But what I'm seeing is that this is going to be a good change for you. Everything that I see that's pulling for you is a major arcana card, which means this is a major change for you. And I do feel that you got it probably with the help of friends or through connections, and it's going to be a good job. So I was working is what she said. Okay, good. I'm glad that you were working, but I'm also curious to see if you got this job through friends, like with connections, because it's showing that with me, and I think it's a good job for you. Are you staying in education, Lauren, is the question? Or did you get away from that and more into, well, I just see her kind of still staying in that area. She'll definitely answer that in a second, I'm sure. Bing, bing. Yeah. So while I'm waiting for Lauren to say something, Jeannie, with the one I didn't understand about her being the Capricorn, wanting to know about her dad, she wants to know how he passed away. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, so Lauren left education, but we're juggling two. Let me just see. What do you think about the father that passed away with the Capricorn?
Yeah, what is this person's name and their or you don't know the location?
I do. Oh no. She's in New York City, and her birthday is 11/27/91.
And what's their name?
This is Jeannie.
Jeannie, is her father's name there?
Oh God, she'll probably put it up. Jeannie, can you put your father's name up? I got really quickly, and I don't know if this makes sense. I got heart. Like he passed away of a heart, like really quickly.
I'm wondering if it's heart attack or heart break.
Okay, yeah,
or both.
Okay, yeah. So he's a Sagittarius, is what she said. Okay. Still working around kids and family, mostly sick kids. Wow. Okay. So what I felt like it was like a sudden heart attack or something. It felt like he died suddenly is what I'm getting. What did you get?
Yeah, I agree. I get more like his health really plummeted. And I just wonder about, it seems like their relationship was a little bit,
I don't think she knew him.
Okay,
necessarily very well. It was strained is what you were getting?
Right, exactly.
His name is Leo. Oh, Leo. And Jeannie's a Sagittarius. Sorry. She's not a Capricorn. Okay. So, okay. I 11/27. I'm sorry. I was thinking 12/27. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So his name was Leo. She's a Sagittarius. And she wants to know how he died. Did they not know how he died? My gut was it was like a sudden, quick, like she said, plummeting. But I felt a heart attack or something. Like it was quick and he was out. I didn't feel it was suicide, if that's what you were questioning. Like, that's not what I got. If anything, it was accidental,
Sure.
but
Sure.
it wasn't planned.
Right.
So that's
No,
the
there
big
is
thing.
this sense that his life ended too early.
Yes, but I don't think it was like because he took it. Like,
No.
I think that's not on purpose. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Jeannie, but that's what I got, and that's how Gracie's getting it too. Lauren is still working around. I know we're juggling both. Lauren is still working around kids and families, mostly sick kids. Wow. So you left education, but you're still around kids. Okay, let's take a look. When did you start, Lauren? I'm kind of curious, and I think again, congratulations. This is a good thing. Lauren, you have the Queen of Wands. This should be a great job for you.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to say that I think even though you're out of education, you're still around kids, and I think this is going to be good for you. I'm looking forward to seeing how this affects you, because honestly, it looks like, yeah, I knew you were a Pisces. She's 3/15/20, 3, not 21, sweetie. I know you didn't get born this year. Oh, you started. wait, I asked her, when did she start? 3/15. So she started on March 15th. So, okay, I get that. Yeah, I really think that you just, even though you're hearing like some bad news around like the office and whatnot, because I feel like it's been like this with you, Lauren, the job itself is good. Looks like you're in charge, and you're going to take this away. You're going to be there for a little while. I don't think it's going to be forever, but I do think I see you there for at least a couple years. And so, hang tight. Oh, so Lori wrote back too. I know I'm flipping all around. Lori is a spiritual psychology counselor as well as intimate surrogate energy healer. I do have many balls in the air. So I was right about the fact that I thought she was some sort of counselor of some sort. Yeah. So Lauren, yes. This job that you did in February, in March 15th, that's near your birthday though. I thought you were Pisces, aren't you? It's going to be good for you. Just hang tight. You're going to hear changes all around you, but you're going to be fine. Okay. I can't hear you, Chris, but I can see you. If you hear me, I can see you.
I just wanted to say to Lauren, working with the kids, I also want to validate that you have big dreams and take this job. You're going to like it. It's going to be hard work, but it's a great opportunity to learn a lot, because I actually see you down the line starting your own business, and you might go into business with someone else, and it's still regarding kids. But I just want to validate the big dreams that you have, and it's very unexpected, and I see you being very wealthy in the future. So just keep that in mind with this job, that this is going to set you up with a lot of knowledge that you need for the future.
I like that. We have so many questions, but we are running out of time, Gracie. I wish we could get to all of them. I see there's a bunch more, but you know what, guys? You can always find us. I mean, every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, you and I get together, Grace, and we have such a good time. I wish somebody would have utilized the telephone, but I know a lot of people are at work typing away. This is where if this were at night, I think we'd have a lot more phone calls. I always get you're during the night now, Grace, aren't you? When's your show?
I don't have a 1-2 radio show, but I go live once a week on Facebook. I know.
I thought you did. Yeah. Well, I guess you took away that responsibility for yourself because of the schooling and everything, and I understand that completely. But you can find her at Advisor Grace from Pain to Change, or from Pain to Change and Advisor Grace on Facebook. You can find us both on 12listen.com, where we do readings. And, I also have my page, Sounds Like Lisa, my show every Thursday that I simulcast like this, if you want to find. And I'm looking forward to having you back on soon, Grace, because this was fun, like having you come in and help me answer stuff. Now that I know that we're about to go off air, I have over 50 comments. I'm probably going to see everybody's comments. I'm sorry we couldn't get to everybody, but an hour is only, an hour. And if you like what you hear and, like this button, give us a like, and we will do more of this and try to really come in and connect with you all. But I'm so happy that you were able to join me, Grace. It was great to actually see you. I mean, this was a first for us because we normally phone each other.
Yes.
to see your beautiful shining face underneath me
Aw.
on my thing is like so happy. Give my love to Brian. I know.
I will.
I hope you know I wasn't calling him your man like the other day. I was just, he's your man. He's the guy that like you live with, and he's your bud.
Right.
So
He would
like,
say I was his man, but yes.
I'm sure he would. But it's great to see. I mean, so many changes have happened, even like with you moving from New York to being where you are now. You are an inspiration to those who follow you. And I suggest anybody who is listening to this and wants to follow her to find her, because Grace is great. And I will have you on again soon. But thanks for joining me today, Grace, and helping me
Thank you
answer
so
some of these
much.
questions. I know this is a little different, but we will do this again soon, okay?
Yes.
Because I always love having you on. And you have a great Thursday, everybody. You too, Gracie. And
Thank you.
next time we'll see you is same time next week at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Sounds Like Lisa, or you can find us on Facebook Live, okay? Thank you so much, Gracie. I will talk to you soon. And until then, thanks for coming on today, okay? All right. Take
Thank
care.
you.
And thank you, Chris, for being my producer. All right. We're out of here. Bye-bye, folks.